Okay, in this section, I want to create colors. So I want to be able to choose a variable that is not continuous, like this one. Now we are using HP. So let's say that we want to use type or generation, or it's legendary. And we want to color each category of a different color. Now, if we go into our color base here, we have two types. So we have monochrome and I mean off and on. So we have like one single color. We can take a look. We have one single color, monochrome, if I put it on. And we have like a gradient that we choose from here if we put off. And so if you know a bit of data, you know that for like a gradient like this, we need a continuous variable, like HP. But for a categorical variable like type or generation, we will need like a different color for each category inside the variable. So what I would like to do is to create like a very basic and rudimental UI that allows us to go inside it and for each category choose the corresponding color and then displaying it here. And as a second step, we will put like a small legend on the side of the plot that will show each color and the corresponding category. So let's create a container this time. Put it here. So if this is like quantitative color, that will be qualitative. So I call it qualitative and go inside. Here I want to like grab our data, so I can take a look of the variables, like the categories inside the variable we want. So I will go into the database here and grab this null, which is like the main table basically. So I can create a select here, and I will drag this null here. Now let's say that in the color variable we pick something categorical, that's like generation, and so like we have 6 or 7, I think. So in this select, I can already in select calls by name, I can drag this here already. So already we have only what we need. Now, of course, this is like for each Pokemon, it will display the generation, corresponding generation. But in this case now, we want to grab only the unique values. So like only what, like how many generations we have. So if you come from pandas, that will be like dot unique parentheses. And you can do the same with sort dot. And you go to unique output and go single row call. So we already have our generations. So we have 6. And we don't want the name of the variable, so we can use another select. And in select rows by index, we start from 1. So that's all we need. And if you change, like we check is legendary, just yes or no. And if we check type, we'll have all the Pokemon types. Maybe we can use this one later. For now, let's keep it easy to generation. And as next step, we want to create like color for each of the categories. For this, we will use again a replicator. Okay, so to show what we are going to do, I'll give you this little example. So if I create a constant and I copy paste, and I will assign a different color to this one. And then I use a layout. Now with this, see, we can have the two colors in sequence, and then we can use these colors to like color the different categories we have here. So we could just do this for our single variable, but to create like a quick UI that we can reuse, we get rid of these two. We keep the layout, and we can use a replicator, and then we will create the single tops inside the container. So we will have a container for each category, and the container will contain the color, and then we will link the output, like the color, to this layout. So we'll go in this viewport. I will go into data, into color, and from color to qualitative. So we are here. I will go inside this. Actually, I am calling it color 0. Remember, we will use this number. Inside, actually, I can also customize component and create two parameters. One will be category name, and will be a string, and the other one will be color, of course. So we can use RGBA, or RGB also is fine. It will be just color. Now we can go inside. Actually, before we can like give some values. So the category name will be this select two. Oops. So I can grab this select two here, and we want to grab, in this case, the first line, the first row. So will be me.digit, comma 0. So if this will be called color 1, it will take the second row, which is 2, and so on. So we leave it color 0, and then we can go inside. Okay, from inside we can create on the top with the main point, sorry, constant top. You can call it also category color, and this will use the color from like the part. So we can grab this into this. So we can just take it and grab it here as a reference, and we automatically get RGB. So now I can color it, like say we want this blue for generation 1. I will put an out and can go up, and then we can replicate them. So prefix will be color. So it will create new operators called color and something, and the master operator is color 0. And now we have to tell it like what we use to replicate it, and we will use the select two. So here in template.table, and we'll use grid is fine in this case. So we can have this, and then all these will have to connect to this layout. So we can do this with code. So I'll get rid of this. So this is what happens when new, like on replicate, when I click this, or when the new operators are created, something will happen here. So the C, it will be all the new operators created. So we can use this to connect them to the layout. So the way is this: the C dot output connectors 0. So will be the new operator, and the connector is like this. 0 will be the first one. Dot connect, and we have to tell it what to connect it to. And we connect it to the operator p layout 1. Parenthesis, parenthesis. So if now I know, if I now click recreate all operators, I will go here. We have already the colors like combined, like put one after the other. So if I change this one into green and say this one into blue, we'll see the difference. Also, we need to connect this one also to manually to the layout. This will be fixed, so it's okay. And now it's in the last position, so we can recreate all of them. So now it's in the first position, and here we go. Okay, so in theory, this is already enough. So like I can go into each of these colors and like I look at the name of the category and choose a color correspondingly. But there are two things that we can do. First of all, let's move the resolution of the top, the constant top inside to 1. So I've done already. That's because when we move it, like when this will be injected to the layout and the layout will go to a channel, like each of these containers have to output one single instance. And then the other thing, we can create a text comp, and this, like the text inside will be the name of the category. So we can, in text as reference, we can write parent par and the name of the parameter, which is category name. Then we want to fit this, to fill inside the container. So we can use in scale text to fit always. And then also we can use the color. So we can take this and the RGB parameter, drag it here into the font color. And the good thing is that if I go up now, I see it inside. So I can recreate all of them. And so now I can just go inside each of them. I know that will be generation 2, and I can choose a color and so on. Now we go to the layout. And so we want to output it to a channel, but first we need to change a few things. First, we use left to right is fine. We can use scale resolution. And then we output it into a channel, so with top 2. And we have 6 channels. They're all flat because we have the same color for each. And now we can choose some of them. So for generation 2 green, so you can do whatever you want here. I just choose some random colors to show. Then like pink and the purple. So now we have our colors output to a top, and then we need to merge them back to our like original dataset. We can create a dat2, so from the chop to the dat, it's chop2. So there is no top to dat yet, at least. Now we want to merge this with the category the unique categories that, which is this one. So from this, we can create a merge, drag it here. It's not very nice, but it works. And then we input this to the merge, and we use append columns. So now we have, for each generation, each category, the corresponding RGB and alpha. So now we have the corresponding RGB for each category, and we want to merge it back to the full dataset. So we can go back and use our first select one, which is like every Pokemon, like the generation for each Pokemon. We can use a merge again, like this, put it here, and then we move it forward somewhere here. And now we can merge. Actually, first we need an insert here. We want the name of the columns, so this will be generation RGB alpha, and we need to take care of this later. And then we can merge this one, and we can use append columns and use by name. So we will use the name of this column for the merge. And now we have like generation, Pokemon, and for each instance the RGB. And to see it, like we also don't need, but we can use the chop like that too. Channel per column. First row is names, so you can see how it looks like, and a null. As per this, so we cannot just leave generation, because if we change the variable, it will not work anymore. So we can do this. So we go to the master operator, grab the color variable here, like this. So we have it generation, and do it all in this single dot, and just do plus to be like a string, and then we use space RGBA like this, and have the same output. Now we can actually not a null here, maybe we can use an out directly. We go up, and so we can use the null here and put it here. And we connect it to the switch. Now in colors, now we have monochrome, which is okay for these first two, but this like toggle won't work anymore. So I can go here, the master, and customize component, and I'll go to colors and change the monochrome. And I will use a string menu. So we know that the first one will be monochrome. So we can use like 0, 1, 2 as like channels values, but as names we can use mono, quantitative, and qualitative. Okay. So now if I go here, here I have this tree. So if you use qualitative, will be the third input, and actually this it's not okay. So we have to have the top two, which is the mono, as first one, so like 0, and this one as third, like second. So now, no matter what, like we have inside all these things, from here, from the top, we can choose which type of color we want. So now we can go up and take a look. So I go let's take a look from here. As you can see, there is something happening. So some colors are showing up, but not all of them. So if I change like this, something is happening. And the issue is that, oops, if I go in my Geo, the markers Geo here, we are using this one also to output the color. And this is conflicting with this in instance 2 using the colors as instances. So we have to choose one. And for now, I will get rid of this. We don't need this one. So now we have all the colors, and also I can delete this one. So we can take a quick test. So if we go up and check from here, and I change some colors, so I go to generation 5 and color, I don't know, purple, this one to a darker green, you see that it's all working now. Okay, now we want, so like we don't know from here what each color corresponds to which generation. We want a legend that will display this information here. Go up, 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 and up.